Welcome to the cityCURRENT Show, powered by Hagen-Botham Insurance and Financial Services.
This show focuses on sharing good news and powering the good in our community. Now here's your host, Andrew Bartolotta.
Welcome back to the cityCURRENT Show, where we bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference and powering the good in our community and around the globe. I'm your host, Andrew Bartolotta, and today we have the pleasure of speaking with Kevin Yates. He's the Vice President of Sales at ImageWorks Commercial Interiors. Kevin and his team are revolutionizing how businesses approach their office spaces, especially in a world where hybrid work, employee well-being, and sustainability are at the forefront. So we'll be diving into how ImageWorks is adapting to these trends and what the future holds for office environments. Kevin, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited about it.
Of course. Okay, so I know quite a bit about ImageWorks Commercial Interiors because you all are cityCURRENT partners. But for those listening or watching, start by telling us a little bit more about the company and your role as Vice President of Sales.
So we are a space integrator. So we provide solutions, whether it be in the corporate space, in healthcare, in education. We provide solutions that go inside those spaces. And we use, multitude of options, whether that be furniture, whether it be technology, whether that be demountable modular walls. We provide a lot of different aspects that can transform and to reshape how work is done. Not just, being able to establish, hey, where this chair or desk goes, but really the ecosystem that is the office, that is a healthcare space, that is, where people go to learn, whether that's the pre-K all the way up to higher ed. We are providing those solutions to be able to make that space the most optimal space to where people work, where they heal, and where they learn.
So let's talk first about some of the trends that you're seeing when it comes to balancing the needs of remote work, hybrid work, and in-office settings.
Coming out of the pandemic, a lot of employers were trying to balance first of all, how do I keep my employees safe? That was the primary that was happening during the pandemic to ensure the safety of their employees. And when we talk about safety and health, we're talking about the physical. We're also talking about the emotional. We're also talking about the cognitive. There are many aspects that employers are looking to provide safe environments for their employees. Now, what we saw as we progressed through that time to be able to help employees stay engaged with their companies, with their clients, with the culture. A lot of leaders and organizations were certainly wanting to make sure that they didn't lose any cultural aspects or even that connectivity that they have with their employees themselves. We saw a lot of utilization of, Zoom and Teams and sort of the virtual aspect. And those things have been pervasive and actually helped us to continue to evolve in all of these individual spaces. But it didn't stay limited to just that as it was during the initial point of the pandemic. Now we're seeing sort of this merge and meld in this hybrid aspect between what we saw in the early parts of the pandemic and how employees and employers want to experience their professional lives. How they, that's happening in education and in healthcare as well. So how do we continue to evolve and change? And we're seeing one of the key stats that you kind of see coming out of this: the vast majority of meetings that take place have some sort of hybrid aspect to it, where we have a virtual component. You may have 3 people in a room, but they may be connecting with 3 people in another state, or they're doing remote work or hybrid work. So the vast majority of meetings that take place now has some virtual aspect to it. And so when we look at space, we're trying to, we call it braiding. How do we braid the technology in with the space to make it most effective? I was just talking to a company yesterday actually. And the challenges they are having is making sure that they have an easy experience for anybody to be able to come into a space and start working. There's no delay. It's the iPhone experience. Nobody trains you how to work an iPhone. You get on it, you react to the prompts that are coming up, and then boom, you're in a meeting. That's how we design space for our clients, and that's what the expectation is for employees and employers today.
Talk about some of the employee well-being and how that's become not only a top priority for organizations, but some of the cool ways that ImageWorks is able to make sure that is part of the functionality of the office space or
Just
classroom.
Yeah, I mean, just to touch on the classroom, I mean, Andrew, long gone are the days where you're expected for students to just come in and you're going to sit in rows and you're going to face the front and you got the tennis balls on the bottom of the feet. Those days are long since gone. I used to be a teacher. I still love the space of education. It is a passion of mine. But now, how educators they have grown so intelligent in how to react, because used to a lot of times you're trying to teach to the middle. They don't have to do that. They have been able to become more agile. And one of the things that they do try intentionally is to create a world of learning every time that student comes in, and transforming that space to facilitate what they're learning today is what we want to be able to provide for them in the solutions that we're giving. And whether and now they are incorporating much more activity than they did from years past. I don't know about you, Andrew, but I was a pretty rambunctious kid. I'll use rambunctious sort of lightly. Sometimes I just make a teacher pull their hair out. And a lot of times they would say, hey, you need to just be still and settle down. How they incorporate active learning into the classroom. And that's how we support them to be able to, support those students, because the more active, they can feel freedom in being able to move and, react to things that are happening in the classroom. So they've gotten, very, very advanced in how they approach the classroom and not fearing mobility or things that move and twitch, things like that, like I used to as a student. But what we're seeing in the broader landscape in terms of well-being, we're very fortunate. We have a manufacturing partner, called Steelcase, and Steelcase, they provide commercial interior solutions, but they pride themselves as a research company. So they have been carrying on a study that was kicked off in 2020 and has continued over the last several years. And they released a new statistics around this very topic this past spring. And we're talking nearly 70,000 people in 11 countries to understand like how the office space, how the healthcare and the education space, how people are reacting to what they're experiencing today. And well-being is at the top of the list. Just to kind of give you some ideas, work-life balance, people being satisfied with that continues to drop. In 2021, it was at 71%. They felt like they had a really good work-life balance. In 2022, it was 69%. 2023 is 59%. So you keep on seeing this trend where people are trying to maintain that work and home balance, and leaders and employers are grappling with that. And so and there's that balance that employees are trying to be able to answer in terms of like being in the office versus not being in the office. And so when we look at in the office, 66% of employees are mostly in the office. And when I say mostly in the office, that metric is 3+ days. And so 34% are 3 days or less. So there is this trend of getting back into the office, and what they experienced certain things when they were working remotely. And now they're trying to bring that back into the office. So to the point that you were making earlier, where you see just, a sea of workstations and they're just trying to pack in as many people, employers, organizations, they are thinking of this differently. They're going to have those designated work areas for sure, but they are looking at things where they have away from the desk, where they can find respite, where they can find privacy. Privacy is one of the key factors where people are hesitant to go back into the office, because if they wanted to make a phone call at home that's private, that has to do with their, healthcare physician, they could make that anywhere in their home and feel absolutely comfortable. When they get back in the office, how do I do that? Have that same experience? Well, we're providing solutions that help them with having that phone call without having to dive into a stairwell, without having to look for an open conference room. We're providing, phone call rooms, booths, small pods away from the desk areas that allow them to experience the same thing they had at home, but feel satisfied and comfortable to be able to do that within the office space as well. We, for many years as an employee, companies were trying to have higher marks about the workspace, where they put a ping pong table or a foosball table in a space. They're looking at things so much differently now. Those things are fun, but what they're really trying to attack is making sure that the well-being of their employees is where it needs to be. And that design concept, when we're engaging with organizations, we're touching on those things to ensure that we're providing the adequate means to where employees feel comfortable. We keep going back to the same thing I've talked about at the beginning, where they feel safe physically, emotionally, and cognitively. Those things have persisted throughout, the time of getting out of COVID and, back into what we consider a normalized environment when it comes to the workspace.
What are maybe one or two examples of clients where you've gone in and really emphasized the brand and culture into this physical space by utilizing these emerging trends in the future of workspaces?
Well, for us, those are ongoing conversations, but I will say one of them, we're working with a client right now where they're reimagining their space. They built their building 6 or 7 years ago, so we're pre-pandemic at that point, and they were packing people in there tight, and it was about density. Now they have a new building, and they're getting to reimagine what that looks like. And now they're actually going to take some of the things that they're incorporating now into the new space and retrofit their existing space, because they understand there's some ability to be able to, they were the example of going into the stairwell. They mentioned to me they would have clients, clients of their own coming into their building, and they would pass 2 or 3 people in the stairwell having phone calls as they go up to their conference room. And for them, they didn't want that to speak anything from their own culture, their own support of employees. This particular company has a heart for their employees, and for that I applaud them. They are thinking about these things in the right way, and even not only their new space, but how they tackle their existing space as well. And this is a company that has been around in Memphis for years and years and years, and I'm really impressed, because they've kind of broken through their own walls and expectations of, like, you know what, I don't think this really fits us. And as they learn more, they understand, like, you know what, I'm not going to paint myself into a corner to say, hey, this is not our brand, our culture, but thinking more from the employee side, and that's a leadership mentality. Just to kind of get you to understand, like, from the leadership within an organization is so vitally important to the employees themselves. Even think about the visibility of employees with their leaders. Going back to that same study that I cited just a moment ago, 58% of employees infrequently see their leaders in the office. This causes detachment. And conversely, whenever they see their leaders in their space, it creates 6+ percentage points on engagement, 4 percentage points on productivity, 5 percentage points of connection to culture, 3% in positive impact to well-being. And here's one of the key statistics: a negative 7% likelihood to leave that organization.
For those that are looking to learn more about ImageWorks, get in touch with your team, work alongside you, where can they go? How can they reach out?
So you go to our website. Our website is imageworksci.com. We are located at 6075 Poplar Avenue at the Crescent Center, Suite 375. We have a working showroom. So if organizations are ever wanting to connect and look at new ideas, we just had some clients just walk through behind you, Andrew, as we're kind of having this conversation. We always have people in. It does not disturb our employees. They know we work in a working showroom, and we welcome to call us up. Hey, can I get an appointment? We're looking at transforming our space, and love to get your thoughts and ideas around that. And so we'd love to any engagement or any questions you might have. Please give us a shout. This is our passion. This is what we do day in and day out, and we'd love to go through this journey with you.
Well, we love your team and we love even the open houses that you host and the different products and industries that you're able to collaborate with being a City Current partner. We love ImageWorks Commercial Interiors. Thank you so much for powering the good in our community.
Thank you, Andrew. It's been a pleasure.